Hi, this short video is meant to give you an overview of what you're going to do your junior year and what you're going to do your senior year in IBHL. There are three major assignments that are externally assessed for the actual IB grade, and that means that these are exam assessments. Paper 1 and Paper 2 are done in May of your senior year. The written assignment is completed in the June month of your junior year. But you will submit it your senior year once you've had a chance to review it. Your junior year grade is going to be the one that gives you the indication of where you stand. And finally, you have two types of internal assessment. The internal or the individual oral presentation, which is done in the second semester of your junior year, and then the IOCD or the individual oral commentary and discussion, which is roughly based on your entire first semester and occurs in January during the end of the second quarter, or the end of the first semester of your senior year. So again, I'm going to focus on just the senior year. And during the senior year, you guys are going to be working mostly on Paper 1s and Paper 2s, or the unseen commentary, and then the essay. It's called a synthetic essay because it synthesizes two texts, two from your summer reading and two that you're going to be focused on for the bulk of your second semester of your senior year. Then the individual oral commentary and discussion, which is pretty much our focus for roughly about 75% of the first semester, is going to be focused on three works, two short story collections or novels, and one poet. And so this is again in your junior year and is a major assessment for IB. Let's take a look at what a Paper 1 and a Paper 2 really look like. Here on the left-hand screen, we have a Paper 1. Here on the right-hand screen, we have the Paper 2. Let's go ahead and just compare the instructions. Basically, they look the same. Literature, higher level, Paper 1. Literature, higher level, Paper 2. Let's go ahead and minimize this Paper 2 for a moment. And instead of maximizing the Paper 1, we are going to just quickly run through it. So you have a prose passage or something in paragraph form, and then you have a poem. You have two options. You can do the prose or you can do the poem. You're going to have to deal with conventions of the genre. So primarily you're going to work with the framing or the beginning and the end of the passage. You're going to deal with concepts like characterization, which is going to be a little bit more developed in a prose piece than it is in a poem. You're probably going to deal with more granular focuses like use of figurative language or imagery or irony. And then you might deal a little bit with the tension that exists in the piece or an author's specific type of structure. Here we have multiple paragraphs. What are the reasons for the shift in the paragraph? What type of narration or narrative strategy does the author use? So how does Christopher Middleton deal with the interrogators? Who are the interrogators? You basically have to understand what the passage is doing, and then also how to use a lot of the terms that you've learned throughout your time in high school and obviously before. For the poem, roughly the same thing. We have obviously a couple different stanzas. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stanzas. Why is the first stanza longer than some of the others? Why is the third stanza shorter than some of the others? For what reasons is the poet choosing to use enjambment on this first line? And then, end stop punctuation on other subsequent lines. What is the right mask that Brian Patton is referring to? And so here you're going to be dealing with a lot of poetic terms like enjambment, caesura, stanzaic length, structure. What's the framing of this passage? How does the poet begin and how does he end right here? Again, these are unseen commentaries. The first quarter, you will know what the passages are to get you used to the concept of your senior year. But from there on out, we give you cold passages. We give you unseen pieces where we are here to assess how well you can deal with literature itself. And so if we pop up the Paper 2, slightly different. Here, you know what the works are going to be. We don't study drama or poetry for this section. We've chosen here at Marshall to work with prose, the novel and the short story. And so based on the curriculum that we work with, we have 4 texts, 2 that you read during the summer and we give you some quizzes, and we have you write a paper 1 or paper 2 on that in the beginning of the year. And here we give you the passages. And so you can take a look at just one of these passages. Compare the ways in which at least 2 authors you have studied have made use of the presentation of nature and the effects achieved in their works. And here, you don't have the books in front of you. So unlike the paper 1, you know the books because you've read them before. You understand the full context of the texts themselves. So you have to remember all of the references to nature. First quarter, again, it's a little easier because you know the prompts ahead of time. Second and third quarters, you aren't going to know the prompts. You're going to just go in cold. How much of the knowledge of the texts are you able to bring into your response? The rubrics are slightly different, and we'll work with those over time. But again, we have something where you are working from passages you've not seen before in paper 1 and texts that you have read in paper 2. Thank you very much.